This episode is brought to you by premiumbeat.com and the patrons of This Guy Edits. So what's today's topic?
I've been teaching filmmaking for a while, and I've developed a top 5 most common problems with student films list. Most of them originate in scripting and directing, but what can an editor do to fix these things?
So what's number 5 in the hit list of biggest mistakes that student filmmakers make?
Mistaking your own experience for cinema.
I'm going crazy. It's like I'm looking in the mirror.
You often get students who get some idea for their film from something that really happened to them. And they say, oh no, but that's what really happened. But it's not cinema, is it?
Every day. My life is not a movie.
Well, I could see why they would make that mistake, because we're teaching that you should tell your personal story.
She's my baby.
What are you on about?
I'm pregnant.
Cinematic empathy is more nuanced than just sympathy with someone's situation.
So the challenge is to take that and turn it into something universal.
Well, just into something that has a kind of an emotional flow, a rhythmic shape. It needs to kind of condense things into experiences for an audience and not just repeats of the writer-director student's experience.
So how do we fix this?
The editor isn't necessarily the writer-director, and what the editor is doing to make a story come to life on the screen is giving it emotional dynamics and rhythmic shape. That's why it's often really good to give it to an editor who will look for what is significant about the material. But it's still better if the writer-director can figure it out before it gets to editing or shooting.
What's the 4th biggest mistake student filmmakers make?
Just casting and performance problems.
Don't you want to go to a place of awe and wonder?
Yeah, Dillman. I call that sleep.
No, Steve. I mean Happy Land.
Casting is really, really hard. What I find is that students don't spend enough time on it. It's worth working harder on.
The biggest job of a director is casting. I think Milos Forman said that, my job is done once I cast it. So how can we as beginning filmmakers that don't have access to the top level talent do a better job at casting?
When you're in an audition process, being nervous yourself and thinking, oh, what does this person think of me? Try something that maybe isn't exactly the performance that you're trying to get out of someone.
If you like the actor in the audition, do an adjustment. And it's not about having the actor do exactly what you told them to do. Can an actor translate what I just directed? I just want to see a change. Is that believable, authentic, or does that immediately throw them and it feels off?
And you try to present yourself as something you're not. Do you see how I would have a problem with that?
What students often tell an actor is like, be sad. And that's just poison for an actor.
I'm sorry those people were so rude to you.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
An editor can do a lot to change and repair a performance, but if the actor has something to do, if that actor's body is fully invested in doing their action, then the editor has a huge amount more material to work with. This cuts down a lot on casting and performance problems.
So what's number 3 on what students do wrong?
I get a lot of dialogue written as exposition.
I need to get some things sorted out.
The actor saying what they're
You
doing.
have a choice. A choice.
I'm leaving.
And can we either get rid of the line or turn it into an action instead of being a statement?
Choice. A choice.
Dialogue is not information, dialogue is character.
Exactly.
And I know I should have been there for her, but I wasn't.
The emotional content is what is actually the story. You know, if they say, I'm going shopping when they're not going shopping, then you're revealing, that this character is a liar. They can find out when, some lines are just unsayable. They're so on the nose or there's so much exposition in them.
Why do you spend time inside when you could go out and live your life.
They can realize that because they can feel it in their own bodies, which is like using the editor's implicit knowledge before you get into editing. They're mirroring it in a sense, and then they're shaping it so that it feels right. You know, maybe some of this can be done at script stage.
I mean, the reality really is that the rewriting is a big part of editing, by reshaping, by taking out, by infusing drama, conflict into an exposition scene that wasn't written into the script. It comes on all levels.
It's good to be home.
Including characters telling each other what audiences already know or can see.
You're messed up. You're lying to yourself. And you're lying to my mum.
Drop the dialogue and try to just work with what's visible on the screen. Work with actors' actions more.
That leaves number 2.
Repeated emotional beats is a moment where the same emotion is being expressed without complication or escalation, without subtext, and often without consequences.
Yeah. All right. Hey, have you got a dollar? All right.
Are you hungry?
I was looking at a rough cut from an aspiring filmmaker who asked me to just give feedback. She was showing me the first 22 minutes of her film. My response was, after seeing the cut, you should cut that down to 2 minutes and it's going to be awesome, because you're setting up the character, you know exactly what her problem is, how she feels, and then we go.
Right.
To make it work, to actually tell a story that people care about, and just focus on the gold, on the good stuff, the milestones of that emotional journey.
It's really a question of giving us some nuance to those feelings so that we can change with it. I ask my students, editors, to make script timings. They have to take the script as it stands and they have to act it out themselves. And they have to time it. They're making sure that the script isn't too kind of even, like every scene is 30 seconds long. Some are much quicker and some are longer. With this timing, though, you start to feel a rhythm or a flow that might occur, and then they can give those insights back to the production team just by acting it out.
There needs to be a path, a journey, can't just stay stagnant. I think that is a huge problem with films in general, so what's even a bigger problem?
I actually think this one is probably the source of almost all the others. Refusing to answer the question, what is this film about? And usually the first answer is, it's about the plot, whatever the plot is. But that's not what the film is really about. What is your theme? If you don't know what your theme is, then you don't know what your perspective is on it. You're going to get a lot of repeated emotional beats. You're going to get a lot of dialogue as exposition. Casting might be really difficult because you don't know what it is you're looking for in terms of theme and perspective, and it could really be that you're mistaking your own experience for cinema.
Theme is really what the audience connects to on a deeper level, because you can translate that to your own experience and then you still can make that connection to the film.
Right? And as a filmmaker, that's your perspective on that theme, and that's what the film is. And as you say, that's what the audience connects to.
Why would it be helpful to look at student films and judge them for things that they're doing wrong?
You have to be able to say what it is you're doing. You have to be able to offer students something more than it's just intuitive. If we can articulate more about what it is that we do, we can actually advance the art of editing.
Maybe sometimes we still make those mistakes and we just don't know it.
All the time.
Thank you again, Karen.
Thanks, Sven.
Let us know in the comment section what are some of the biggest mistakes you'll notice when you watch student films. It can be a learning experience. I want to thank the patrons of This Guy Edits. You might have noticed a bunch of names featured in this video. These are the people that love This Guy Edits enough to support it. But it's not just a case of charity. Patron members receive monthly benefits that includes worksheets, bonus content, and the ability to shadow me as I cut these episodes. If you love This Guy Edits, I want to invite you to check out our Patreon community and consider joining for as little as $1 a month. I also want to thank my longtime sponsor, PremiumBeat.com. They recently redesigned their website to help you find the right music faster and more intuitively. If you're looking for great royalty-free music just like the tracks we used in this episode, check out the link in the video description. Thanks for watching.